This is the second episode of Schuyler Sense Podcast, and today I have WingedC, my brother, Malcolm, whatever else you want to call him. What's your Instagram handle?
Brooklyn!
You can't say that. He used to cut that.
Yeah. Can you please tell me your Instagram?
Just put a beep over it.
WingedC. Okay, WingedC what?
It's just WingedC.
WingedC.real.
Just WingedC.
At WingedC.real, I think.
My social media does not matter.
I just want to put it there.
I am an insane individual.
Okay.
There's WingedC visuals.
I'll put it up on the screen. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about why he's doing street beefs and like what is like the appeal to not anime, MMA. The appeal to MMA. So why do you do street beefs? What got you in there, and why are you continuing it?
Next to his butt kicked.
Oh. Alright, why do you do street beefs, and what is the appeal to MMA? What got you in there? Okay, when did you first start street beefs?
Brandon's using the pizza box as a plate.
I first started street beefs at the beginning of 2023.
Okay, and what was your first fight?
Against T Nasty.
And what did you
He got me with a right hook in the first 30 seconds, and I almost uninstalled.
What was the difference between MMA and wrestling? Like,
You get punched.
no, but like, was there like a different, like, was wrestling you think is harder? Do you think MMA is harder?
I feel like
MMA is more fun.
I feel like MMA would be easier.
All practice sucks. It's all hard, and it all sucks, and it all makes you want to freaking quit. But it was fun. I think the most fun part about it is being legally able to fart on them, and they can't do anything about it. Because, like, most of the positions, you can put your butt on their face, and it's not like you can fart on them. And that's honestly a really great strat. I've been trying to replicate it, but a lot of the times, I'm too obsessed with being an anime character. So, I'll be like, it'd be really cool if I threw this one kick this way. And then while I'm thinking that, I get clocked in the face. And then my wrestling kicks in, and then it's like an Autobot. And I just freaking go through the motion. My first fight, I didn't even like choke. I didn't even know how to choke.
What do you mean?
But I just like wrestled him and I stayed on top. It was honestly pretty boring. My first couple of fights were boring.
What do you think about, because I know we talk about this a lot, what do you think about, like, learning those submissions versus just getting the experience? What is a better...
What question is that?
What is a better way of getting better? Just going in and just fighting, or do you think you should be drilling more?
What?
What is a way to get better at it?
Well, the way that I think that I was getting better at it is not the way to get better at it, because I'm very selfish and I don't want to listen to people. Even as I'm going to like a gym right now, like an MMA gym, it's Mosers Mat Club, what I'm going to right now. There's still stuff that it's like, it's a hurdle because I want to stay true to my style, which involves like coming off a certain way. Like I'm going to come off with a certain intensity. I'm going to come off with certain moves. So like I'm going to throw headlocks instead of going for a double leg takedown. I'm going to throw tornado kicks, which have very low chance of even hitting, let alone being used as an efficient way to take someone down. And then I also love just being in the air. Like, my name is WingedC, so I try to stay in the air as much as possible. But the reality of that is it's going to be really fucking hard because I experienced this in practice the other day. I got, like, body checked when I was in the air. And since when you're in the air, a lot of yourself is extended. You're open to liver shots. So your body shots are going to hit with, because your ribs are, like, up here, you're going to hit and you're going to spit out your mouth guard because you can't breathe because you got hit in the liver. So, I'm going to stay bad for the rest of my life. that's okay because I'm gonna be an anime character and it's gonna be all chilling because I have my own style.
You're taking a lot from this.
Yeah.
Well, what have you learned from MMA that wasn't as present in wrestling? Like, is there certain things that you take from MMA?
The sparring is a little bit different.
What about like the
Jiu-jitsu guys are fat. Wrestling guys are pure athletes. Sparring guys have ego problems.
Do you think it's like just as hard? Like, because I feel like wrestling, like, well, this is just, I guess we're just talking jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Because I feel like jiu-jitsu can be like not as intense. It's
Jiu-jitsu is less of an intensive workout than it is like technique flow. When you see two guys that are actually really adept at jiu-jitsu flow together, it's like watching a slideshow of like cool events. I really like being able to see like really two high-level jiu-jitsu athletes go at it, but then I see them butt scooting and then I want to kick them in the face because it literally makes me want to rip my face off whenever I see that in a martial art. But what I think is really cool with the other ones is never mind, I didn't actually have a thought in my brain.
What do you think about street beef, like, as a whole?
Street beef is ghetto, but it's like I'm so with it. It's so awesome having the ability to just compete with like chuds from off the street super easily. Like no paperwork. We don't gotta do blood testing. We don't do weight certs. It's just like you say what your weight is and you're trusted on the good of faith because none of this is you're getting paid for it. So it's like awesome. I fuck with that so much. It's what people need because as men, especially in the 2023 year, we're just pussies. We're fucking cowards. And so honestly, it'd be so nice if just men just freaking punch each other in the face a lot more often.
Do you think that could go like a little bit sideways, like where like people are just like going in there and like they're well, I mean, like I think the street beef's like it's like
Ask a good question.
well, I'm trying to think of what
Ask a good question.
what is it called again? What did they say? Glove up or shut up. Like I feel like they're very like
Their slogan is glove up or shut up.
yeah, and I feel like it's like
Or no. That's part of their slogan. Their first slogan is guns down, gloves up. Because they want to promote safety within like gun violence rates skyrocketing.
I still feel like it's like a little crazy though. Like
What?
street beefs in general, like the whole
I mean, yeah, you gotta be a crazy fucker to like battle almost like you're putting your life on the line when you fight, really. I mean, there are rules to kind of protect against amateur shit, but like even like Pennsylvania's AMI fighter rules, they don't allow head kicks, they make you wear shin pads, they do all this gay shit. Like if you're gonna fight, it's a fight, bro. It should be. Honestly, it would be really nice to fight to the death once or twice in your life. And street beefs is just like a fraction of that. So they let you walk away with your life, but your dignity is left in the dirt. I love that. If you lose, that is.
why do you like that?
It's humbling.
The fight to the death thing.
It's a humbling. It's a realization. A lot of fat dads walk around thinking that they could save their kids in a life or death situation. They sit on their ass, watch football, and then when push comes to shove, they couldn't actually fight at all. Or just like a lot of dudes. It doesn't have to be dads. I'm not trying to rag on dads because dads are awesome. They deserve to get some of that like chubby weight. But like dudes could go their whole life with an ego problem, and all it takes is one fight. Take Conor McGregor for example. You saw that ego problem he had? He literally, his life was changed by that Khabib fight. He got humbled into submission, and now he's just so much of a chiller guy. That's why fights are necessary between men. you realize like, oh, I can get dominated by another man.
Can't you still do that through talking and?
Not with a fucking meathead.
Isn't that
You can.
I don't know.
That's my whole point, though. Like, I feel like some of the street beefs guys are just big meatheads that just want to like
Yeah, some of them are just
fight
fucking.
and that can't
are
put that.
judged.
And they don't even want to put down their pride. You know what I mean? Like, and I could be wrong, but I'm just.
Yeah, your generalization is right and wrong.
But like, what do you think about that?
What do you mean? What I think about it? I said
Like,
you're right and wrong.
Like, elaborate on that.
You're right because there are meatheads that are going to exist, especially in the street beef spectrum, that don't know how to talk things out and they'd rather just fight with their fists. And then there's also going to be heads that exist that who do a lot more talking and don't fight with their fists, and when push comes to shove, they get checked. And it's better for them because they got checked. Street beefs is a small pond
And
in
what's
a
that gonna
big,
teach 'em?
wide world of ocean of monsters.
Can you hand me some chocolate milk?
I'm gonna shit.
In the cup. Is that your cup?
No,
It's your dad's cup.
it's whose? Dad's.
Can I have this?
Pete's.
There you go, Tom. You're asking some boring questions. Give us some good
Chill.
ones.
All right. Do you think you're ever? Do you think you're ever gonna go into UFC or?
Mm-mm.
Do you think you're ever gonna go into UFC coming out of?
The more I
street
do
beefs?
fighting, the more I realize that I love punching heads in the face and thinking I'm a delusional character when I go into a fight. I would love to get paid for it. Who I get signed by does not matter to me. But what I would aspire to have the same level of influence as Conor McGregor, or just have the same amount of reach that some fighters have done to other fighters in inspiring them and bringing them out of their hopelessness. Because I think the really cool thing about fighting is the influence that one can have when they complete a bout. And that just goes for people and for fictional characters.
And what would you do with that if you had that influence?
Bible! Bible! I would just
I have no idea what that meant.
talk about Jesus, but also like put in some funny jokes about how the current thing and is cringe. So I can say Pride Month is cringe. So I can say women belong in the kitchen. Then I could say so I could say Jesus is king and all the things that come along with Jesus' teachings.
Braden? Very nice. What are you guys watching?
We're doing a podcast right now.
We're watching porn.
Malcolm.
There's just gonna be so much editing.
Do you guys want to watch something?
Not right now. It's gonna be
Malcolm
like
doesn't have a-
We're watching
15
porn
minutes
right now.
left.
Oh no! By the way, it's been like 16 minutes, and
Watch your
Malcolm-
phone just be dead and we're just
No,
talking.
it's not good.
I'm looking at it.
Sadly, it isn't.
Sure.
Nah, I think the most important things that I'll say will come to me when the platform and the mic is given to me. I don't even know what I'm going to say half the time because I have 7 different personalities in my brain all duking it out for what should be said at the current time. And it's like, you just got to roll the dice and see what comes out. Because sometimes it'll be a refined, like, all right, this is what should be said because it's something that people need to hear. And then the other one's like, fucking say something wild. And then like the other voices are just vying for dominance.
I think like when you have that much influence, it's almost like, well, you still have to say stuff, but then like just whatever you say, it's also like
It's
there's gonna
looked
be
at.
I know.
That's why people think Israel Adesanya is cringe. To which a degree he is.
Well, like the thing is, like you could say like all this stuff, and some of it could be true, but then all of it, some other aspects of it could just be false, and it's like, I feel like, you know what I mean?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
It's because you're
Like-
not listening.
No, I just don't know what he's trying to say.
All right, what are your thoughts on Sean Strickland?
I just bought his
beating-
shirt.
Just beating Israel.
I just bought his shirt.
Adesanya.
I just bought his shirt. That he released. It closed down yesterday, but the shirt said my pronouns are Sean Strickland. During the fight, I didn't really care who won, but it was really nice watching the Izzy fanboys who are at Buffalo Wild Wings get really sad and walk out with their collective posse because they were like booing Sean Strickland. And I did like Izzy because he's an anime head and I love anime, but the more and more that I researched about Izzy, I was like, he's kind of cringe. Paints his nails, his speeches are ass. It's like his words have no integrity to them because his personality and the way he acts doesn't really like fall in line with that. Like I was kind of rewatching. I really liked his speech when he beat Alex. He's like, I hope you guys can feel this moment of happiness right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was cool at first. Now I think it's cringe.
Why? I still think it's cool.
I think it's cringe. Because I just, the more and more I learned about him, I was like, paints his nails. J.O.'s his dog. He acts, I think that this is a lot of annoyance. The people in the UFC act too big for their britches. They're really not that good compared to like all the best fighters in the world. So I'm
What do you think about? Because I always feel I don't know too much about UFC, but
Yeah,
seeing all their records and they're just
padded.
high.
They're padded as shit.
How does that even happen?
No idea. There's people that have been flagged on Tapology, like the people that do the records, like for holding staged fights.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet some of them are part of there. But I mean, there's some level of like probably skill that they had to get there. I mean, they're the champion for a reason, but the UFC has a small pool of fighters compared to the worldwide. Dana White isn't trying his best to make the world fighting championship. I mean, he does have people come in from different countries, but overall he's there to make money rather than to find who's actually the best. Because he's a greedy, bald Mongol.
What do you think about the celebrities and like after like getting that money and like?
Depends on how they are before and after. I'm really tired of the UFC seeing people just like act like they're superstars when in reality they just get fame and they get power and then they act like idiots. I like seeing humility. I like seeing I also like seeing a personality. I like both. I like a humble personality. Like realizing that you are ass, but also realizing like Sean Strickland, very good example of humility that he expressed when he was saying he's just like he's glad that the UFC lets him fight. He said if he didn't fight, he'd probably be a drug addict, slinging meth. So I was like, that's real. And then like these other dudes like, what's the fake Sean Strickland? What's his name? Colby Covington. Literally every Instagram post he has is "What's up, nerds and virgins," which is like funny on the outside, but as you doom scroll his page, just like that's his only thing that he says. And he's a bullshitter. He's like, oh, I respect women, but I have plastic women around me every chance that I get. It's just.
And what would you and like? I feel like, as human beings, that's just normal to end up, just kind of. Once you get all that money, you turn in, dude. Once you get all that money, you kind of turn into that person without even trying.
Yeah.
And
money corrupts.
And like, how would you prevent yourself from doing that?
Go to the Bible. Have people tell you what you're fucking up in. Not just random people, but just someone that you look up to, your mentor. Have someone kind of give you insight as to how you're fucking up.
Do you have any mentors?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Right now I have a dude at my church. His name is Stace. And I meet with him, try to meet every week. It's been hard since my training schedule has been crazy. But we meet every so-and-so. We'll go hit up a diner. We'll just talk to each other. And he just gives me, it's not always like you're doing this wrong, but it's a relationship. It's something where you actively are looking for things to get sharpened on. And when you're picking your mentor or you're being discipled by someone, there's a lot that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's God.
Do you think you should have? Do you have other mentors for other aspects of your life as well?
Yeah, but most of them are fictional. Like I really, even though it sounds cringe and really like, no, it is cringe. I don't care. I'm proud of it. I really like these random dudes from Japan being able to write a story that's in black and white and then it being adapted to an animation style, and then I take very large concepts from those characters that are in that, because there's deep perspectives that are hidden amidst the ink and the sounds and the animation that just honestly reform a man. And there's nothing to be ashamed about that, unless it depends on what anime it is. If it's Naruto, you should be ashamed. Naruto's cringe. Just kidding. It sucks. Naruto's mid compared to what people say.
How do you think that can help you in like fighting? Like what aspects?
It really can't sometimes, but what it might help is your attitude. Especially, I'm watching Hajime no Ippo right now, and it's really helping me stay in that grind, because watching Ippo go through these, he was just so single-minded with like training. He wakes up, goes to school, trains afterwards. You know, even though all his distractions, he's trying his best to juggle and manage them, but he's single-mindedly searching for that like championship. He's so hungry and focused on just winning. And that translates into like a sacrificial amount of time that he's putting into it. And it makes me, in turn, want to sacrifice the free time that I have so that way I can attain that perishable wreath.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it only helps in the moment, like in the moment of watching, or have you taken things from animes and like that you've watched like from years ago?
What question are you asking?
I'm asking if you still take things from animes from years ago, or is it only helping you in the moment, like because you're watching it right now?
I take things from animes. If I think a better rephrasing of that question is how stuck in your mind is the things that you've learned from different animes, even the ones that you've watched long ago and the ones you're watching now. But answering that, it's really hard, because there is the nature of what I'm talking about is extremely complex that isn't really good to be translated to words, but it can be done.
What do you mean by that?
It can be done through a mix of words, and it can be done with sounds. It can be done with the perspective of the story, like the themes present in shows will motivate you to do certain things, because you're seeing someone else live out their life through their perspective, and what they do could inspire you or influence you to do that certain thing. Older shows have definitely had an effect on me. If I wanted to be more specific, I would need a lot more time than just right now, because that's already something that I would need to spend like just an hour brainstorming on.
How useful do you think that motivation is?
Very useful, because it's made me who I am today, just like anyone's experiences.
Because I feel like motivation when you're in a workout, although it might help, it might not get you to push past whatever you're dealing with.
Yeah, it's discipline too. Motivation is just like the tip of the iceberg. The rest of the iceberg that's hidden below the water is
Even
discipline.
with like music during, like I know you love music during your workouts. Like,
yeah,
do you really think that helps as much as like does it? How do you feel about music?
depends
in
on your level of
workouts?
immersion. Like, I like to think of it as an atmosphere. Because sometimes the music's playing, I'm not even listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes the music speaks to me on a level because I can resonate with the atmosphere. It's music is spiritual, and that would be going into a much deeper conversation because in order for me to recognize what makes music allow my brain to give the special signals that allow the spiritual side of me to just kind of rise above the pain and the all the things that are wearing me down. It needs a much longer conversation about the spiritual realm just in general. And that's a conversation for another day because we were supposed to be talking about street beefs.
No, but it can still go into any other thing. It doesn't have to be just about street
Well,
beefs.
Joe Rogan always talks about bears, so we have to talk about bears.
How good is your bear hug?
It's not that good. My hips are decent.
How?
Oh yeah,
All right, dude. Come
I'm
on.
like popping a pimple right
That's
now.
nasty. How is your wrestling experience helped with your like hip awareness, and like how does that translate to MMA?
Oh, it kind of like built it from the scratch up because my hips would have. Wrestling is like you fight for a position, so my hips know which. As long as I know what the dominant position is, I can get there. And wrestling is like literally just fighting to maintain, and at such an intense level to get there. Which is cool. Ow. I think I got like a scratch during sparring on my knuckle, and it got like it kind of infected a little bit. So now it just has a bunch of like pus
Speaking
and
of
shit.
affected, what was your experience getting?
Knocked out.
Well, I guess we can talk about that first. Yeah, what was your experience getting knocked out? What was that like?
I forget everything.
I personally never got knocked out.
I forgot everything.
But you have gotten a blackout.
No. I think I had a seizure during it because I have epilepsy. So when it happened, it was like I didn't wake up or I didn't even like come to consciousness 40 minutes after it happened because there's images that I remember in my brain. I don't remember waking up at all. The story that I was told by my friends was it tried to wake me up with smelling salts. And I was kind of like this. I was like fucking riding a motorcycle and my muscles were tensing. So it was probably like my brain sending some weird electrical
For the
signals.
whole 20 minutes?
No, not for the whole 20 minutes. It only like happened for like a minute or 2 minutes. Was my brain like sending electrical signals to my muscles and like probably making me like tense up. But what happened after they woke me up, I was in a state of like delirium. Like apparently I tried to keep fighting and I kept asking the same questions like over and over again. So I don't remember any of that. And I do remember the last thing I remember after the kick, like when I started the fight, was I just was sitting down. And so my friends sat me down in a chair and they were talking to me, but I was just kind of saying gibberish. And then it wasn't until like 30 minutes after that I was kind of like, oh, I got knocked out. Wow. And I don't even remember it. And then...
Did it hurt afterwards? Like
Didn't really hurt. Didn't really hurt at all. It's just my brain jostled very fast from side to side. So it's like that caused the electrical signals in my brain to just be misinputted.
is that
And it was kind of scary because I was like, damn, did I just have a seizure? And I'm like, oh shit, am I gonna have like another seizure again? But I was ended up chilling. I was chilling. I just had like a weird aura the rest of the day and I thought I was concussed, but I probably wasn't.
does that make you want to be able to like train much more on preventing it? Like, what is
Not really. If I get knocked out again, it's alright.
So it doesn't really scare you, like
Not really. I'm fine with, dude, I honestly really want to die in the ring. because I'm like insane, and it would be so nice to just be able to like die like whilst getting punched, because then I already want to like at some level leave this world, because suffering is constant and pain is never ending. So it's like, why do I even want to be this world when literally as soon as God decides my life ends, I'm with Jesus. Like,
Don't you have things?
I get a new body, new name. I get to see God in His glory. Like, I don't want to wake up and go to work and then fill my car with gas. No, thank you.
Don't you still want to experience life with your family and see your kids?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, there's joys that I do enjoy, but it's like, it's all gonna fade away. No one will remember us 100 years from now. No one will remember our history or our kids. There'll just come a time where, now this is nihilism incarnate, but it's the reality. But that doesn't mean I won't enjoy the time I do have. It's just all of this will be for naught. This house will crumble and break down, and no one will remember even us being here. So there's really, you could say there's no point, but Jesus has me on this earth to preach the gospel and to act like a servant of His. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'd really just rather be with Him. So if I die in the ring, poggers. Be so hype. That'd be a cool way to go out then. Then more people look at the words you say too, and they're like, damn, what he said really meant shit. Then I also don't have to doom scroll on Instagram as I do it. I'm doom scrolling on Instagram right now.
So, along with the topic about you being okay with death, because I think that's, dude, can you please pause that? I feel like there's good aspects about that, because it's like you're not scared of death, and that's not a way to live, but don't you still want to enjoy your time on Earth, and because it's God's creation?
Yeah, like I said,
don't you want to?
You should enjoy the time that God has allotted for you. Because God has allowed different blessings to come into your life for different reasons. And ultimately, He put you on here for a mission. He wouldn't if He didn't want you here, I would be dead, or my sperm would have never, my sperm would have never reached the egg. My sperm, me as a sperm cell, swimming. It's funny because we have Asher, who's 10 years old, who doesn't even know what that means, right next to us.
My mom told me what it means.
What does it mean? What is a sperm cell?
Something that's inside your body.
Yeah. What's an egg?
You mean what's a sperm egg, or what's just an egg?
Sperm egg. I've never heard of a sperm egg.
You really wanna?
No. You know it's so hard?
If God didn't want women to be in the kitchen, why'd He give them milk and eggs in their body?
You know it's so hard?
What?
Is while you're talking, you like think of your own thing that you're talking about, but then you're like, no, I need to just listen as with all. All right, are you listening?
Yeah.
Then you're like, then I'm like, no, I just need to listen to everything he's saying in order for me to learn something. But then when I listen to everything you say, then I just forget what I was gonna say, and it's like just frustrating. But I don't think you were listening to that, so. All right. Well, anyways, thank you for watching the Schuyler Sense podcast. No, I'll turn. You can turn it off. Yes.
Pokemon Unite.